Welcome to my kitchen. This is Monica, and today we are going to make medicinal jello, also known as phytogels, which is a wonderful way to take plant medicine. Way more fun than your average tinctures or tea, especially for children or adults who are struggling with the flavor of the herbs. So I'm going to start off by showing you the herbs that we're going to be working with today. The specific recipe is going to be for phytogels that support digestion and spring liver cleansing. So here's the herbs that we're going to be working. Here are the herbs we're going to be working with today in our phytogels. What we have here is dried fennel, aerial parts. This is 10 grams worth. And this is dried orange peel. Now this came from my garden. These organic orange peels came from my family. We saved our orange peels. I laid them out on a little tray on top of my radiator until they were dried, and then I crunched them down into a little bit more of loose parts so that we can make a decoction with them. What we're basically doing is we're going to follow the recipe for these. This is a vegan Simply Delish dessert gel pack. So I purchased 4 of these, and we're going to be using 4 of them all together. 2 orange and 2 strawberry. And instead of, on the directions that we're going to follow, instead of going with boiling water, we're going to use the boiling decoction from our fennel and orange peel to get those herbs into our phytogels. And we're also going to be using some tinctures here. We have licorice and artichoke leaf. Both of these have 30 milliliters of tincture in each, and we're going to be using the entirety of each of these bottles in our phytogel making process here. Not a lot of equipment needed here. I've pre-measured 6 cups of water, which I'm going to be pouring into a nice big pot over my burner here. That's 1 cup extra than what the total amount of water that's recommended on here is calling for. I've added 1 additional cup total because we're going to be adding our herbs. Here's the orange peel. We're going to be putting that in. And here's our fennel. And we're going to be putting that in. And we're going to go ahead and boil this. Once it reaches a boil, we'll be turning the heat down and simmering it just for a few more minutes. And because we'll be cooking it in that way, we might lose a little bit of water. And that's okay, because we're going to remeasure it before we add our Jello dessert packs. So I'm just stirring that all in. I'm stirring that all in while it's on the heat. Then I'm going to wait for that to come to a nice boil. Okay, so what we have here is a nice boil. I'm going to stir it a little bit more. I'm going to reduce the flame to a simmer and cover it up. We're going to let that sit for about 10 minutes. Some more equipment we have here. I have these are silicone based little trays. These are little heart-shaped ones. And here's another one, silicone based. They're squares. I'm figuring that we're going to fill up all of these with our with using 4 boxes. So whatever's left over, I'll either put into here or I'll put into a wider glass container in hopes of pouring whatever's left down so that the thickness is about the same as the thickness of one of these, so that the dose per gel remains relatively consistent. Okay, so I went ahead and added 10 ounces of cold water to this jar. I had pre-measured it. I made it cold by putting just like a half of an ice cube in that and letting it melt, so it was just like extra cold. I guess it depends on how cold the water is that runs out of your faucet, or your if you have a filtration system or what have you. So then I went ahead and I added the tinctures to the cold water, and then I added all the gel packs. There were 4 gel packs, and now we have this very cold solution ready. Now what we do is we're going to take the lid off of this. Look at that. And we do need one more piece of equipment. We're going to use a screen here. I'm going to use my Vitamix to pour it into, simply because it has a measurement system on it, and it has this little lip for pouring, and that's going to be important for me since I'm making, going to be wanting to pour it into each one of these. If you want, you could pour it into a big bowl and stir it, and then pour from the bowl into something else that you have, or use a funnel or something like that. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to start pouring it through the screen. It's catching the curves there, and we're measuring out 5 cups of boiling decoction. Beautiful, look at that. It is perfect. That is absolutely perfect. So now I'm going to take this, just going to set it aside for now, and we can go ahead and add, look how pretty. You can go ahead and add that. Now, time is of the essence because the cold and hot temperature mixture is part of that important process of getting a good gel. So we're going to go ahead and pour these now. Now I'm going to take these and put them all into the fridge. They should be chilled after this, and they will be ready to go according to the package within 60 minutes. And here's the final product. The square one came from the Pyrex tray. It's approximately similar size as the heart, and there's the heart. And I tasted one. It's delicious and mild, and it's a wonderful digestive bitter treat to have right before any meal. So the recipe yielded about 60 phytogels, and that means that within each gel, since we used 30 milliliters of the artichoke leaf and 30 milliliters of the licorice root tincture, that each phytogel has about a half milliliter of each. So one phytogel serving is going to have 1 milliliter total of those specific medicinal herb tinctures within it, approximately. So that means that 1 or 2 gels before a meal would be an average to low dose.